Welcome to the Cornerbed Studio live stream. As usual, I was wasn't planning to stream at all, and then I started working on it. I'm like, might as well just stream it. So here I am again. This time around, so I kind of built up this helmet. Man, I really need to remember to put things side by side. But it looks a lot better than when I started out yesterday. And I'm just going to keep going. I think for today's live stream, cornerbed learning tip of the day. Why is that such a mouthful? Let me show you how to do this thing. Maybe I'll just hide this first. Oh my god, stop doing this. Where is it? Oh my god. Outliner is getting messy. What's this? What is this? Oh, okay. Nope. Why is this button not? Give me a sec. Why are you not working? Which one is it? Maybe it's under view. Wait, no, it's under visibility. It was working fine yesterday. Why is two? Give me a sec. I guess I don't use this. I guess this is something new which I haven't really looked at. The what's that called? Keybind menu. So let me just. I'm not sure why my hiding binding is. Oh my god. Where was it? This a bug? Let me restart this. Why is it not working now? Oh, okay. I think that's stupid. You know what? Let me give you 2 learning tips of today. I don't remember this being a problem in the previous version though. I mean, getting all these weird shit. So, first learning tip, or like 0.5. This one, my visible, where was it? My, oh my god. Where are you? Show yourself. Okay, so the visible on and off, it wasn't working on this object because this object is the mirrored side. So if I toggle, oh, look at this. So if I toggle this one, the mirror, if I toggle the mirror, what's it called? Mirror repeater. This is the original object, like this is the physical sculpt object, and this side is the mirrored side. Yeah, I really don't know whether or not this wasn't an issue before, because I feel like if it was, then I would have just accidentally encountered it in the months or like, I don't know, years of using Nomad Sculpt, but it seems like I can only hide by clicking on the actual mesh and not that. So it's nothing to cry about, but I just need to remember that. And then the second thing that I want to talk about, the second lesson of the day, let me show you how I quickly add this button here. So if I bring up the gizmo tool like this, doesn't matter which one if I bring up the gizmo tool, I've placed the gizmo tool roughly around this. Actually, it doesn't matter. I guess not really. I'm just wondering whether or not. So this gizmo tool was like I adjusted the position. I adjusted the position by hand, so it's not exactly in the middle line. Is this not symmetrical again? But it's not exactly at the, like if I cut the line through this mesh, it's not exactly in the middle of this. But when I look at all these pieces, it's like, it seems like the left side is more protruding anyway. So if I, what the hell are you doing? Oh my god. I feel like the new iOS is just like messing with me all the time. Are you fine now? No, you're not. Okay. You know what? Forget it. Oh, you know what? I can just... It's so annoying. Let me just grab... When I just grab you... Just making sure that it's fine. So this stupid thing is not working. Everything is not working, damn it. So if who needs screenshot when you have a sculpt to work with? If I look at the site, like if I cut this across, you can see that this side, I mean, this is not really important actually. But imagine that this is the thing, and then when you look at like the side view, this side is kind of like more protruding out anyway. Like I'm just looking at that. And because there is this, let's just delete this. And because there's this like irregularity, that it really doesn't matter like that my gizmo is not perfectly aligned, and so the new object I'm gonna add to create this is not perfectly flat on the geometry. So after I adjusted this and placed it, sometimes it might be like, let's see, let me just, the way that I made this was to just, forgot to validate, was just to drag it like that, like this. So the gizmo tool is kind of like off from where it should be. And normally the way that I think about where I place my gizmos is where I feel like functionally it works the best. So because this helmet, oh my god, stop it. The perks of live streaming. And because the wings is kind of like this and coming out a bit, it just makes more sense for it to like not be like this, and I need to adjust it like that. It makes more sense for it to be somewhere here like this, so that I can adjust this like wings. So that's what I did with this one, which is using this pivot thing to adjust the gizmo pivot position. And then the other thing that I consider would be with, oh my god, I wanna cry. Just feeling more emotionally tired. I was talking about how I'm trying to like run every alternate day and like climb boulder like every other alternate day, and it's been more like 2 weeks and 1 day since I started that this year. Yes. I was like, oh my god, like this is going a bit well. Like I'm dead tired, but it was going well. But then yesterday when I went for a run, emotionally I was so dead. Mentally I was so dead. I didn't want to run at all. So I just took a lot of videos and ran a bit. But I'm like, I feel so dead. But I feel like that is, so the past year I've been bouldering every alternate day, which is not normal in my life. Like I used to be sedentary, and then last year I wanted to try and feel like what it feels like to kind of like just trust in the process and just climb every alternate day, no matter how I'm feeling inside. And it worked out very well in the whole year. Like there's the ups and downs, but when you look at it as a like in the whole broad picture, it felt really good. But I feel like I'm still not fit, so yeah, this year I'm just going to torture myself and try and do something even more. So yeah, I'm gonna be tired, and like the new iOS is just like who cares about how shit you feel and how tired you are. What am I doing? Okay, so the other thing that I consider is, hello Sota, hello. It's nice to catch you again. I hope 2026 has been good for you. was I? So yeah, so the other consideration of where I put the gizmo would be to see what other elements are on the object. So if this object wasn't here, I can put the gizmo like kind of like anywhere that I want. But because this thing is here, I intentionally place the gizmo at the middle line, like the center mark of this button here. Yeah, except 3D sculpting. I'm like slowly getting into 3D sculpting and painting like more than last year, and it's like everything's going so slowly. So like I filmed a tutorial last year. I filmed a tutorial last year, and I still haven't worked on it, on the video edit. It's partly because I did know that like the end of last year would have been like one of my most stressful moments in my life because of reasons which I will not delve into. But then like, oh my god. I feel like I've only just started recovering from that mental trauma. But yeah, it's all in the past. So, and I'm feeling a lot better now. So yeah, I just need to slowly get back into wanting to do things again. So right now the gizmo is at least super. You know, maybe you should, since you're stuck on the Blender interface, maybe you should like I've seen a lot of people customizing their Blender interface, and I've seen like some really cute interfaces or like cool ones. Yeah, since you're stuck there, maybe you should just play around the interface. That's what I would do. Oh no. Oh no. Rest in peace. Oh wait, I hope that your laptop is fine. But I guess like in the future when you look back, that would be quite a interesting or funny story to tell. Where was I? Yeah, so this gizmo, I'm intentionally placing it on this this position here. Oh my god, this position here. And the reason for that is that I want to create a new sphere at this position. So instead of creating oh, why are you working? Why are you working when I don't want you to work? So instead of creating, what was my hotkey for? Instead of working at, actually, why are you not on the world origin? Why? Yeah, instead of doing this and then I'm moving things like this, like that, like this, and then I'm just like moving things around. Instead of doing that, I can just use this. Use this gizmo here, and then oh, that's good. It's good that you have a free fix. And then when I have the gizmo tool selected, I'm choosing the on gizmo button, and I'll create a quad sphere. And so the new quad sphere will appear at the same gizmo position. you can see that the alignment of the gizmo is exactly the same. And I will just shrink this down. This was what I was doing before. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to stream this. And then flatten this. Right now everything is still like a primitive object, unvalidated, so just work it. Yep, just do it like this. And if I want to adjust it, just rotate it like so. Because the gizmo is just like a rough placement of this object. And then paint it up. And from this point, I'm seeing some comments, so let me get back to it after I do this. I'm just going to kind of like eat into this like that, and then make this area sharp like this, and then validate this one, and then I can undo everything and get my old stuff back. So yeah, that is how this object was made. It looks so cute. I don't know what vacuum 500 means, so sure, I wonder whether or not like there'll be more cases of people pushing their laptops to the limit, because Blender is just like free and so easy to use and get into. I mean, obviously it's difficult to get good at it, but I feel like the barrier to just start doing it is even... Why are you blinking? Have I tried 3D animating my stuff? No, back in art school I did some animation, and I would think like, because I did all the different, so like the whole pipeline, I learned like what to do in the whole pipeline, from like modeling to rigging to animation, UV unwrap, texture, all that, rendering, lighting. The only thing that I didn't learn was sculpting, although we had like a, I don't remember now, like we had maybe like a 1 week extra, like the teacher knew our teacher knew sculpting, and so he was like, let me give you like a free lesson to show you how to sculpt, which was like so nice of him. But yeah, like out of the whole thing, I didn't like 3D animation. I didn't like 2D animation either, because like we also learned like the whole 2D animation pipeline. Yeah, so I didn't really do like, I didn't really pick it up afterwards. But I guess like seeing how like in some sense like the skill level, or like the variation of what you can do with 3D animation, like how it has evolved to this point, then sometimes I'll look at it and be like maybe it might be fun to pick up like the easier ones of like what I feel is more in line with what I'm doing. I find animation really difficult, and I think that's why I really didn't like it. It's actually like the IK, oh my god, what's that? The IK, like there's a way that you can animate a walk cycle so that the knees don't pop. Like let's say if you animate a walk cycle, like let me just do some shitty. So like let's say you animate a walk cycle like this, you have to do it in such a way where the knees don't like suddenly like pop like that as it's moving into the cycle. And I feel like I just I just couldn't figure it out. Oh yeah, well, let me keep going with this. So I'm looking at the object here. I'm looking at the object here, and I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. That means there are 11 lines. So I'm going to use why are you not appearing? Normally the radial thing appears. Let me just, you can see how little I've used the new version of. Oh, because it's not validate. Oh my god, stupid. I see. I was just being stupid. So I have to validate the spear first, and then I'll do like 12, because I think it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is correct. And then like I said in my previous stream, I'm really not used to I usually put my crease tool with the invert as my default, but now when I use the toggle, it keeps like reverting back to the original, which is like this. So I'm like more used to it being like this by default without pressing anything. So I'm trying to like unlearn that, and yeah, I'm just trying to unlearn that, wherever that is. Then I will draw this curve like this. I'll use the dynamic topology and do it like so. Looks pretty close to me. And I think there's this like a barrel shape on one edge, so that they stack like this on the side view, like that. So I'm just like pushing in this one and pulling out this one so that it creates this shape. And I'm just going to push it down like that. It's very satisfying to use the radial thing. And then sometimes with drag tool, I don't want it to affect the the what's that thing called, the topology that much, so I'll switch off the dynamic topology for it, for the drag tool brush, and then just push it around like this. I think the main thing for this stream is I just wanted to show this because it looks so cute. And then I will do the inside. Like this. I just made a mistake again. And then I'm just slowly creating the shape like this. It looks like those what's that Korean biscuit. Oh, it looks so pretty. Then I'll just clean up the shape a bit. Make sure that it's still round. Can see how much more manual work it is to just do like a round circular thing by hand. And it kind of like looks like shit, but then over time, as I build every single thing up, everything will look more proper. Then right now it's just going to look like some wumpy thing, and that's fine. And let me just flatten this. Hello, white flare. What did I eat to get good? Let me see, like this. Maybe I need to push this out a bit. What did I eat today? Eat some fried rice. And then cook up like 2 sunny side up, because Asian food is just like full of carbs. Okay, I'm going to just I don't like this. Why do you like this? Of course, this one doesn't really look like this because of the colors. And I guess the proportion is still a little bit off. Okay, let me. Is it still a bit off? Oh yeah, can't forget coffee. Had a nice latte as usual, every day. It's always so nice to be able to make your own lattes. I went to a cafe recently, and it was like freaking $8.50 for 1 cup of latte. It's like, I mean, I wanted to try the latte because I guess like I always try to like for anything, I always like to like once in a while, I guess for coffee would be to try like an actual cafe's coffee, maybe like once in, I don't know, once in a year or something, just to compare the lattes that I'm making at home by myself. Luckily, I think, at least based on personal preference, my latte is up to standard. And which also makes me feel like, man, I really don't feel like spending $8.50 on a coffee. It was okay. Like, it was interesting. The beans that I chose, maybe it's more like the beans that I chose was not really my style, but then I was like, I want to try like what this seasonal bean tastes like. And if it comes to doing art, it would be like once in a while looking at what other people are doing and just kind of like making sure that like there is this feeling of like, yeah, my skill level is not like up to par to like a top professional doing industry work, but it's kind of like setting like realistic standards to my current skill level and then make like a, did I just made it, maybe I just make it worse. I just need to stop looking at that. Can see like how Should I just uninstance that? Where are you? But you can see how this was the kind of like the original one, and then where is the other one? Why are you doing this? And you can see it just adding these like distinct features on a sculpt, like how much this elevates this in the, if I'm not talking about it and being distracted, it would have taken like a lot. It would have been done much faster. But you can see like how just this quick little detail makes the whole thing look like a lot more polished without doing much with the other stuff. So that's why I like to work on these kinds of like small but distinct details on a sculpt, because I'm not going to work on these things. Like you can see that I'm just doing a rough painting of this because everything's still low poly. But then, oh, I just noticed this. It's a different thing. But something like this, I'll make it. So my plan for this stream is to make this a little bit, these things a bit better, and to fix this thing. So let me just fix that real quick. I'll just duplicate this one, and I will, oh my god. Let me fix this. Let me fix it before I duplicate this. It's probably because I rotate it so the gizmo is like this, but I think I'll want it to be more aligned to the world axis, so I'll just align this, and that should be good enough. By the way, the pivot button for the gizmo tool is just, you can activate it with the add sub button, which is this button here. You can see that it's at the same location as the add sub button when you activate the gizmo tool, which is quite nice because it just means that I can squeeze a lot more features on functions on my very limited macropad. So I'm going to this piece of geometry is from a rectangle sheet. So and then I curved it to form this shape here. So to get this piece of cloth like this, I really have to thank this person for uploading these really nice shots for my reference. And then, so you can see that there's this shape here. I'm just going to make sure that this one is pulled out The thing that I wonder about is that, like, he has the character has a scarf like this. I'm not sure whether or not this one was underneath, and that's why it was difficult to see like what it was. I can see that this was what I originally thought it was. Like, I didn't know that it was this long. So maybe in that regards, I would just like maybe smooth it out until it's inside the cape. Something like this. Let me just bring up the in-game. I'm not sure whether I have the in-game. Okay. No, not this. Yeah, it's pretty much inside. That's why I couldn't see it. I guess it looks pretty straight down. I'm not sure whether or not it will overlap, like curve inwards because it's being pressed by the cape. But I think for now I'll just paint this. Paint it like this. Just so that I know what this geometry is supposed to be. And then when I bring up this, I found a lot of screenshots. And I know that it ends over here, so I need to push it back. And this one's quite distracting, so I will just... Should I just paint it black? So I should just make this like a like a more normal neck, and maybe just paint it black so that it's less distracting. I find that when I'm still working on a subdivided mesh, it's just easier to look at what I'm doing when I have the wireframe on. And when it becomes very difficult to do like very refined adjustments, then I'll bring up the subdivision so that when I smooth this, it's moving like really fast. But if I bring up the subdivision after shaping it to like a good amount, then I can start doing like the more like refined shape. And I can use the same pressure on my smooth tool like this to move them really fine, like make really fine adjustments like that, like this. just move them a bit. Make sure that the wireframe is not too bad. Like it's not really necessary, but it's always good to. It's always good to. Why? Let me just mirror this. It's good to just keep things neat like that. Because if you can keep the things that they can control pretty neat, then the ones that is out of your control, because it's more difficult, it becomes a lot more manageable. I think this oh, did I do this wrong? Oh my god, I think it's wrong. Damn it. I made it too narrow, I think. I guess it's even wider than that. I guess because I was just looking at this front view, so it's not super accurate. Can I use one of the existing ones? Or maybe I just, you know, I think it's fine because it's quite square anyway. And then I will adjust this one. Dude, the shape is wrong. Oh my god, it's so off. It's so wrong. I wonder if I can just redo this one, because I want to subdivide this, but I can't. As in, I want to reverse this. I think because the mesh is not symmetrical, so I cannot reverse the subdivision. So I think I'll just redo it. Let me see. Where's the box? I want to make sure that there is an edge loop cutting in the center of the geometry. And then I think this is not too bad, I think. And then I'll just validate this. I'll clone this. Validate this. And then I can redo this. Actually, it looks quite symmetrical. Maybe I should just make use of the symmetry planes. I'll use the X and Y Then this way, there's half the job done, like this. I like to put the extreme ends to where they should be. It's kind of like moving vertices in Blender, where you're just shifting the like a vertex. You can't see the vertex in Nomad Sculpt, but you can still move it like that. And then just keep moving it and shaping it like that. Sometimes something like this, the average, when you're smoothing things out, it averages the distances between vertices. So when I smooth this really lightly, you can see how much it moves like this. So around this time when I'm like, oh, this shape is roughly not too bad right now, I'll subdivide this. Then this way, when I smooth the object, it's not so, like, it doesn't move like so much. Something like this. I like to go back and forth in the subdivision levels. So like if I find that the lower subdivision levels is easier to manipulate, then I'll just go back to this. That's why I have all these hotkeys on the bottom so that I can just click around. I don't really like putting it as like a macropad hotkey because I feel like I don't want to press it by accident and do like some stupid shit. So like I'm more comfortable just moving it like this. Like that. And I'll hide this one a bit first. I think sculpting is like making puzzles where you can see, like yesterday when I did the shape, I was like, oh, maybe this one looks correct. But as I start working on another section, then it becomes super clear that this is not correct. So let's just make it more correct, and then it's kind of like when you look at puzzle pieces and you're like, what the hell is this thing? And then when you start making, like, build up the pieces on one section, and then you're like, oh wait, what's this missing piece here? And you look at the piece that you used to not know what it was, and then when you look at it again, it becomes clear, like, oh, this is that thing. Then when you put it in, it's like, oh my god, like that's what it was. It, like, these kind of things, it gives me similar vibes. So let's hide this first. This thing is atrocious. Oh, We forgot to turn it. Oh wait, symmetry is on. Okay. So I'm just like moving. When you look at the wireframe, you can see where the vertices are. It makes it a lot easier to move things around. Like I'm kind of thinking about, and it does help a lot that I used to 3D model in like, I mean, this was so long ago. But I used to do like a more traditional kind of 3D modeling in like if Blender was good back then it would be in Blender. But I was using Maya at the time. This was becoming difficult to adjust, so I subdividing it a bit more. Now I can just slowly smooth this area out like that. But like building things with vertices, edges, and faces, like the usual 3D modeling, it really helps for things like this where the concepts of moving the vertices or faces and what's the thing called, the edges. Does it really matter though? I mean, the sculpting is just like moving things around. So I'm just like slowly moving things like this. I can use the crease tool to sharpen this edge like this. If I use the same material, then I can see the sharpness mattering more. You can see the crease over here. And then I'll push this out like this so that I can smooth and average out the placement of the mesh so that it becomes more like what I want. I think if you're doing this for the first time, it's going to be quite difficult, but my best advice or like tip for getting used to this is to just like move things. I guess like for one thing, like feel how it feels to move things a lot instead of like doing like minor shifts like this. So I'm like looking at the shapes, and let's say if the shape was like this, like that, then I will just move this to the point where the top of the helmet touches, and then I'll just like smooth things out and move things into place like that, instead of like moving things bit by bit like that. But at the same time, when the main shape is building up like this, then I highly recommend just focusing on, like, let's say if it's like this, then I'll try to focus on one vertex at a time. I would say that this is the second stage of modeling, and then smooth that out, and then shift it a little bit, smooth it out. Look at the other angles. You can see that this edge is not a straight line. I hope that there's no feedback. I just realized that my PC is the speaker is on. Yeah, so on an edge like this, it can be quite difficult to make it straight, but if you just move things a little bit until the edge is smoother and then lightly smooth it out like this, and then move it a bit more and then smooth it out like that, smooth it out like this, smooth this out. I'm looking at like the vertex and the edges, so this one's not curving. I'll move this out a bit and then smooth the surrounding out and then move this out like this. And this was how I got used to working in 3D space. They're becoming a lot smoother, and then I can go back to the lower subdivision levels, because if you look at this, you can see like sometimes things stand out like even more at different subdivision levels. No, that's not. Like this. And let's look at the shape of this. I think this one's too white now. And the same thing with this. Things are where it's quite difficult to move the points at this level, so I will bring it down a notch and just move the edges and the ends inside like that. And then when it becomes too difficult, then adjust the subdivision level like this. And that's also why I like having the edge loop in the middle of the mesh like this. I'm trying to smooth out this line, because I can use the crease tool. Oh wait, is this wrong? Oh shit, this is wrong. Wait. Let me hide this guy. Okay, I made a mistake. Let me fix it. long story short, I was trying to fix the symmetry for this object, but because the object was slightly off-centered, the center line disappeared when I forced the symmetry. But now it should be good, I think. Let me see. Wait, it's not. I'm going to align an edge like this, and then I'm going to, this is kind of like a hack, like you really shouldn't get to this point like that. And then the good thing is that this thing is in the center of the world, so I can make use of the central symmetry to hopefully fix this. Guess it wouldn't really be exact, but the main thing is that now I have this center line that I can work with using the crease tool. I am going to push it out like this. If you're kind of lost like what I just did, it's okay, I'm also quite lost. I'm just doing like whatever makes sense at the moment to fix things. And that looks like a very pretty edge. But then sometimes when things are not working out, I guess the best thing is to just redo it. Let me show you how I made this. You can probably use a Taurus. It's not too bad. Is it? I don't know. Maybe I'll just use I just do what I did. Wait, no. I want to use this. Still trying to get used to my hotkeys, so it's So I'm creating this geometry and then making sure that let's bring this down. So I have like a 1, 2, 3 and 1. So I want this to be sometimes redoing things will be a lot faster too, because you have even though there's some problems with the previous geometry, it gives like a good guide to the new geometry that's going to replace it. And then I'm going to put a hole through it and make this like this. And add some horizontal edges. And I think that looks good enough. The main things that I wanted to be perfectly symmetrical, which this one there was like an issue with this edge right here. Oh, when I forced symmetry, it didn't mirror correctly. So, wait, I don't delete this yet. So I can validate this and start. Start working on this. I'll say though, if I was working on this with Blender, actually, wait, no, I shouldn't. I should just do this properly. So I'll just make this a lot thinner so that I don't need to do weird shit like that. Or if I was doing this in Blender, I would probably just do this with like is 3D modeling like just a standard thing? But I'll just do this with 3D modeling. Something like this. And then using the crease tool. Adjust the shapes like this. Go to the side view and push the vertices out like that. Sometimes it helps to average out the distances, and then that way when you smooth things out, it's not going to jump really far ahead like this. And it's going to like roughly move things into place, and then use the smooth tool to make them a lot cleaner like that. And after I'm done with this, I can delete this. And now I have a good geometry replaced. I guess today is all about fixing like the stupid things I did in the like last year. Oh my god, this one too. Made a lot of mistakes in this one. It's quite difficult to manipulate this up here, so I just bring this down like this, and then it's just a lot easier to move things like this. I feel like it's probably more forward. And then let's cross check at the front side. Stop doing this. And yep, it's too tall. Is it too tall? Because it kind of feels like half-half. Like, probably this is too small. So I'm going to make it bigger like this. And then move this. The things that I'm not really sure whether or not I want to do dynamic topology for everything. That's why I'm more particular about the subdivided mesh. Because if I know for sure that I'm going to use dynamic topology on them, then like I don't really need to care about whether or not the geometry is like whether the face is correct. So I'm going to fix this one, and then Sometimes when you're stuck with figuring out what the shape is, just work on a different angle. I think that's really one of my favorite things with 3D sculpting. That a lot of the times when I'm stuck with something, I just work on another angle which is easier to work with. And then when I rotate back, it's like, oh, it's a lot closer than what it was before. And sometimes when I'm painting, I wish I could do that. Now I think when it comes to manipulating the geometries from different angles, is that when I'm moving something like this up to match this reference, I'm also thinking about like where I am, which part of this mesh I'm manipulating, even at this angle right here. And I think there will be a big part of why it feels like I'm gonna guess that if someone else is going to manipulate a mesh like this, if they are big enough, and then they'll be like looking at someone moving things around and be like how come like that person move things around and like it doesn't look messy? I think most likely it's because like even at a front angle like this, I'm trying to imagine what it looks like from the back, or like what it looks like in 3D space. So imagine if I'm doing this and then I'm kind of like, actually, does it work that way? Actually, I'm not really sure. Just don't mind me. I think especially for something like this, I'm intentionally moving things from the front side and not the back area. And so when I move this to fix this sharp bend like this, and I'm pushing this to make this shape flat out more, I'm being very intentional of making sure that my brush is holding onto these vertices instead of this area here. Yep. So yeah, like even though it looks quite straightforward of like oh, you're just moving things around, it really helps to think of which like will get better with practice, which is to imagine what the 3D object looks like at in 3D space, and from wherever angle that you're doing, you're moving the, like, not really like the exact, maybe unless you're really good, but you can see, like, even if I move this, how to say, when I'm moving this and then I move this edge here, it'll be like, oh, why is it so off? And then when you rotate, you realize that you're manipulating this edge instead of this one. So just be really conscious of which area you're manipulating. Then that way you don't really have to do like double work of like, oh, I moved this thing and then I need to fix everything else kind of thing. So let me bring up the, oh, stop it. You can see the before, this was before, and the after looks so good. Except for this part. So I can delete this one now. It's always so fun to see improvements. It kind of reminds me of when beginners learn how to draw. There's this exercise that I used to do in school, like in classes, where like you draw. I barely touched it. I feel like when yeah, like especially doing very thin edges like this, it's like it's so easy to just like shift things around and then things like go to shit. So like especially with thin edges, like I really need to be very careful with how I intentionally press. Let me see. It's like as much as I wish that I can move faster with while modeling the thin edges of the helmet, like I know from experience that sometimes when I move too fast, it's like it becomes very, it's just so easy to make things like super messy. Let me see. Then now I need to fix this thing. But in relation to like learning how to draw in like the beginner stage, like one of the favorite, wait, I need to, wait a minute, I should just mirror this. Yeah, see, this is what happened to my other meshes where I made a mistake with the symmetry and then I made the mirror, and then now the center line is just like one middle face, so that's not good. So I learned my lesson now, and I'm going to do this. And hope that it would be fine. Good. I'm sorry, I got distracted by this. So the beginner drawing exercise would be to like draw dots on a piece of paper and then make like confident lines to like draw across all 3 dots in one like smooth stroke. So I'll say like something similar when it comes to 3D and how it became easier for me to manipulate things in 3D space would be to actually wait, is that correct? Sorry, I think I lost my train of thought and now I don't know how like the 2 of them link together. Giving shitty advice. I'm very lightly touching this, like super lightly. It looks so pretty, you know. How do I relate that to sculpting? Actually, is that even like this the correct comparison of what I want to say? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the same. But when it comes to like 3D, I think being very mindful of like where you place like the point of your stylus to like which, like from here, from this angle, it looks like you can just touch anywhere and manipulate it. But then when you rotate around, you're going to notice that there are so many faces, like vertices along this short distance here. And depending on where you touch, like here, 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 it will affect the shape. Like if I move this compared to this area here, or even this section here, or this section here, they will all give like different results. So a good practice is to just be like, even something like this, I'm being mindful of like touching this vertex and not this vertex. Like you can see it's a very small distance, but when I rotate this, you can see that it is quite a big difference in where the vertices are placed. So at this angle, I'm still like trying to be conscious of which vertex I'm adjusting. And over here it's a lot easier to see which one it is. So I'm moving this vertex so that this edge is a lot smoother like this. Also remember to save. And to make big changes, I'm using a big brush to do like a soft fall off to the overall shape. Like this. And you can see like it's clipping like this. That's when I was solo mode and be like, it might be because the shape of one of them. I like the shape of this one. I like the shape of this one, so I will need to refine this a bit. So I'll stick to this one and make sure that this one follows that shape. And even when I'm creasing the edges here, I'm not like just drawing like that, because it does make a difference. I'm making sure that I'm drawing across the center line like this, like that. And then because I'm intentionally following the shape of this piece, I'm adjusting this one again so that it follows. And then if it comes to overlapping pieces like this, sometimes it can be, especially when like I'm not really that great at hard surface modeling or sculpting, but I try to do my best with it, with what I can do. So when it comes to multiple pieces like this, just slowly try and like create the base that you want, the base shape that you want, and as pieces like build on top of each other, you can start adjusting, like making micro adjustments to each piece. And let's see which one is, I'm not sure whether this one's under. Let me bring up. Yeah, so this one's underneath, so I need to, I can even use the gizmo tool if I want to. And then just slowly move things around like this. And then the angle of this is a lot more slanted, so I can use the gizmo tool to do that big adjustment. And then use a big brush to make overall changes and smooth things out. I like to use smaller brushes for, like, let's say like this one. You can see like edges are quite shit. And then I'll just use a small brush, and it's kind of like using your mouse to move individual vertices in Blender. And even like smoothing too, you can smooth out individual vertices like this, like that. And I find that it's a lot easier to manipulate these kind of hard surface stuff for me, doing this. like it is quite slow, but the hope is that I'll get better at this with more practice, and eventually I can do like, I can find a workflow where I can do things more efficiently instead of doing it like this. But then now when I'm just trying to get used to working with thin edges or hard surface things, I'm just moving things around in a way that doesn't make me suffer. I mean, the main thing is to have fun with what you're doing, and if you're finding everything like really difficult to do, you're just going to stop. You're just not going to do it. So it's like there's a point in like, yeah, you don't really want to do things slowly, but at the same time it's like, if you try to do things fast and like you end up not making anything, whereas when you do things slowly in like your own skill level and you end up making something in that period of time. You just have to pick and choose like which one matters more to you. So I'm still seeing some intersections. So I'm moving things like that. Oh, it's so pretty. And obviously because I was adjusting the mesh and smoothing things out, the paint is non-existent. So I'm just going to, like, well, I probably can't really stream that much. I need to stop. So I'm going to just roughly paint the stuff in again. Also, just to take like a short break, like this is a good way to take a break from like all the all the difficult problem solving that we had to do just now. And also I find like it used to be the case that you can't like view things with like real-time lighting and like textures and lighting in the 3D viewport. But then now I can do that on the iPad too, like, which is it's really incredible. So just make use of that. Obviously I'm using the iPad M4 and it does give me the allowance to be able to like do this without the iPad burning out. So but if you're doing simple sculpts, I think it's still possible to look at the paint and like with lighting and all that stuff. And it's kind of like a good way for me to see if like things are working out or not really quickly, like that. And also it's just so fun to do this. I think it's like I don't know whether I even need to do this, because with the way that I finish my art pieces, it's just like I can probably just paint like any fixes in Procreate. Oh yeah, so there are two pieces here, and they are around the same shape. So I will instance this object and move it. Wait, no, scale it a bit. And then I should move it out a bit more like this. Wait a minute. And adjust the shape until the two of them stop overlapping like this. And then because the shape is quite different. But I guess it doesn't matter for now. Let me just... So I don't even know whether or not this back view matters. What's the difference between smooth and smooth edge? Is that a thing here? Sorry, I'm not really sure which one, like what smooth edge is. Smooth edge. Smooth and smooth edge. Okay, let me work on this color so that it doesn't look like a piece of plastic. It's quite desaturated. I think that the blue color is also quite different. Let me use a more accurate blue, and then progress is so slow, but it's progressing. Smooth edge. Between smooth and smooth. Can you elaborate on this smooth and smooth edge? Maybe I'm just like a little bit brain dead right now. Let me see, this one aligns with this. I think I need to move this a little bit more forward like that, so that it lines up with this. And then it's at the very bottom of tools. Wait. Smooth edge. Where is it? Well, if it's somewhere here, I think I'm not really sure what the what they are, because I think I haven't. I don't think I've used anything called smooth edge. Let me see. Yeah, if it's a Nomad thing, then I think I haven't used it, so I can't help you with that. So this one I'm going to make a different piece to get that. So I'm just duplicating it and pushing it out a little bit. Let me push this one in a little bit more. Yes. Oh, I wonder, like, is it like a custom thing that you added to Nomad, or is it that mine is different? But I know that I rearranged this quite a bit. I wonder if that messed it up, because this whole thing is like completely different. Like, I move things around. I guess it might be easier for you to find it in the manual. But then I found that there were a few things in. Wait, do I do like this? Which one do I do? I found that there were a few things, like when I was working on my. Wait, do I do this? Yeah, I guess so. When I was working on my tutorial scripts, and I wanted to cross-check at the Nomad Sculpt manual, I found like there was some stuff of the newer things that weren't in the manual, like new features that were added. And I think it's kind of like they don't have the time to update the manual for like the new functions or like interesting little things that was added to the UI. But I hope that you can find the answer somewhere on what those things are. It's just different. I guess the easiest way for you is to just create a new mesh and test things out. That's what I do all the time. Especially for the ones that like the manual is not like up to date with. I'm just like, oh, it's not in the manual, so I just experiment in my file. Actually, something like this might be worth for me to just like dynamic topology this very weird shape. Although it's not too bad. This one's not matching, but it might not matter depending on what is visible in the final viewport arrangement. So I'll just leave it alone for now. It's okay. I think, me included, I feel very stupid like when I make my tutorials. Like I honestly just feel very stupid. I think we all feel the same way. Even if you feel that I'm more proficient at using the UI, I think it happens a lot. But yeah, I hope that you can find... Oh, ripple effect. Oh, it sounds quite cool. I wish that I can try it. I think I'll just dynamic topology this thing. And I will just trim the shape. Just because it feels more fun this way. It feels like it's a lot easier too. I think this is the last thing that I'll work on before I go. Let's just make this nice. Look at everything coming together. Just drawing the impressions of the materials. From this angle, there's this weird edge here. Let's fix that. Oh, it looks so cute. I think one of the things that is really important too is to do things that matters to you. And I feel like there are other characters which seems to be more popular, but I really like the design of the main 4 characters. I really like how the Guardian looks and all that too. I like the helmet design of him, and that's why I'm working on these characters. But like, if your preference is like the Undertaker, or like, I forgot which one's the puppet, the doll-like character. I feel like that character is quite popular. But if those characters are your favorite, then you should sculpt those characters instead. Like, don't sculpt Wylder if you feel like you don't really like his design, because it doesn't really make sense. I'm doing this because I really like his design. And so even though I find these like quite difficult to do. It's been really fun to it's been really fun to see everything coming together like this. Don't forget to follow through in the hidden areas. And I'm going to just flatten this a bit. It is like seriously the last thing that I'm doing. Let me just quickly oh my god, stop. Oh. Here, let me do this like final thing. Which I probably have to redo again because I probably need to adjust this mesh. Whether we want to do this. Got this fake edge. Not bad. Not bad. Now I can see like the difference between this and everything else. But everything will eventually become like this. It kind of looks out of place right now. Well, thanks for hanging out, Wylder. It's been really nice just doing work with you. Yeah, hopefully right now this one sticks out like some weird little thing, but it will all make sense when everything else gets like more done. So this one is oh, of course there's like paint affecting it, but this was the before and this is the after. Not bad for like just doing things for our first pass. So I hope that you learn something, and I hope that you have fun doing sculpting or whatever that you're doing. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know it looks quite good. Especially when you look at it from a distance. Like, wow, that looks so good. Okay. I'll see you guys. Okay, thank you. It looks really good. I think it's a Singaporean thing, you know, saying like, oh, it's not bad when it's really good. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.